All right, welcome back, everyone. So today's explainer, it's honestly a real game changer. We're going to break down exactly how you can completely eliminate social fear and shyness, and we're doing it using 5 really actionable mindsets. If you've ever felt, kind of held back by your own mind, you're definitely going to want to pay close attention to this one. Okay, let's dive right in.
So have you ever let a life-changing opportunity just slip away? Really think about it for a second. You're standing right in front of a moment that could literally change everything for you. Maybe it's a conversation, a pitch, or a crucial introduction, but suddenly your brain just hits the brakes hard. You start thinking, what if I mess up? Or, oh no, what are people going to think? And just because of that split second of panic, that hesitation, poof, the chance just vanishes. Look, if that sounds familiar, you're in the exact right place today, because we're going to deconstruct exactly how to fix that.
There's this really great old saying, a ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are built for. And honestly, that applies perfectly here. You weren't meant to stay tied up in your safe zone, just completely paralyzed by all those what-ifs. Sure, remaining at the dock might feel incredibly secure right now, but it totally defeats your entire purpose. It's time to actually untie those ropes and set sail.
To get out of that harbor, we're going to need a map. So today, we are slaying 5 specific mental dragons. Step 1, getting out of your comfort zone. 2, stopping the overthinking. 3, not comparing yourself to others. 4, practicing confidence. And finally, step 5, tapping into the power of positive thinking.
All right, let's jump straight into step 1, getting out of your comfort zone.
So we often think that sticking to familiar places or, always dragging our friends along to events is what keeps us safe. But actually, relying on those crutches is making you weaker over time. It's a hard truth. But true growth begins exactly where your comfort ends. Think about it. If you're terrified of talking to new people, you literally just have to rip off the Band-Aid and go talk to them. If you're always relying on the safety net of having your friends with you when you go somewhere new, well, you need to start going alone. Action is absolutely the ultimate antidote to fear here.
Which brings us right to step 2. Stop overthinking.
Look, overthinking is basically the root cause of almost every single missed chance we talked about earlier. Just think about the overthinker's mind for a second. It's always, what if they laugh at me? What if I look completely foolish? That internal monologue just paralyzes you before you even take a single step forward. But let's weigh that against the actual harsh reality. What is the absolute worst thing that happens if you get rejected? The reality is, you don't die. The rejection might sting for, an hour or two, but then it's over. Done. We build these massive, ever-sized mountains of fear in our minds over scenarios that at the end of the day are mostly harmless.
And letting that paralyzing fear take over leaves you with a very powerful but very sad number, 0. Because that is exactly how much learning happens when you let overthinking win. Imagine, say, a group of students sitting in a classroom, and they're all refusing to ask a question because they have this irrational fear of looking stupid in front of everybody else. Well, by staying silent, their growth stays at absolute 0. The one person who actually dares to ask the question, they're the only one who's actually moving forward.
Moving on to step 3. Don't compare yourself to others.
Comparison is this completely silent, self-inflicted trap that so many of us fall into. You see someone else's intelligence or their success, and you instantly feel small, right? You're basically defeating yourself before you even open your mouth. So to boot this, we really have to redefine what success means. True growth is measuring who you are today strictly against who you were yesterday, and just completely ignoring everyone else's timeline. Seriously, throw it out the window. Everyone has entirely different starting lines, different circumstances, the whole shebang. So the only valid, logical comparison you can ever really make is against your past self.
So instead of letting comparison breed all that fear, why not use it as a cheat code? Learn from others without any shame. Knowledge honestly does not care about age or status. If someone is further ahead on the path than you are, just drop the ego, walk right up to them, and simply ask how they did it. People who are willing to learn from anyone, and I mean anyone, are the ones who truly excel in the long run.
All right, that leads us to step 4. Practice confidence.
A lot of people operate under this wild illusion that self-confidence is just this magical genetic gift that you're either born with or you're not. Well, actually, scratch that. It's totally false. Confidence is a muscle, and just like any other muscle in your body, it has to be conditioned through actual effort and action. Let's look at a literal progression here. Say you have a talent, like singing, but you are absolutely terrified of audiences. You gotta start incredibly small. Sing alone in your room. Then, step 2, sing for just one trusted friend. And then, step 3, you just gradually scale that up until you can actually perform for a crowd. These intimidating tasks become so much easier when you break them down into these little micro-exposures. It basically proves to your brain that, hey, you're actually safe.
Now, if you struggle with public speaking specifically, try this method: mirror, camera, action. It's super simple. First, just stand in front of a mirror and speak. Then, take out your smartphone and record a video of yourself doing it. You sit down, watch that video, catch all your little awkward pauses and mistakes, and then you just do it again. Building up this private courage and, working out all the kinks before you ever face a real live audience, that is exactly how you forge unbreakable public confidence.
And finally, we arrive at step 5, the power of positive thinking. Now, I know what you're thinking, but this isn't just some fluffy motivational cliche, okay? It's literally the ultimate internal system override. Think of your mind exactly like a computer. If you walk into a meeting visualizing failure, thinking, oh man, I'm going to mess this up, they're absolutely going to reject me, you are literally inputting garbage into your system. And guess what? The output is guaranteed to be a total disaster. But if you walk in there visualizing a great, super smooth conversation, you're priming your entire hardware for success.
When you prime your system for success like that, the physiological changes happen almost instantly. Seriously, your body language opens up and improves right away, your speech becomes remarkably clearer and way more fluent. And most importantly, that awful, paralyzing feeling of fear in your chest, it drops significantly. And all of this happens simply because you made the active, conscious choice to assume the interaction was going to go well before it even started. It's wild how well it works. So we've broken down the exact path from being completely paralyzed to becoming genuinely fearless. And I want to leave you with one final definitive challenge today. If rejection isn't going to kill you, why are you stopping yourself? Honestly, it's time to untie those ropes and get out of the harbor. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep pushing those boundaries, and I will see you next time.